And welcome to you all. Well,
our beast.
We got Lee with us.
Got Martin.
And thanks for joining us. And so Lee, how are things with yourself?
Really good actually at the minute. I've just done that video with my new car. So I'm excited to have that. It's a shame about the make, but I'll do it at my leisure. It's in storage. It's not costing me anything to do it, but it would have cost too much right now, and not the time, but not necessarily the cost, but the time to do all the jobs. So I thought, now put it on the back burner, come back to it, and I can sell that Fiat later on. But for the time being, I've got cheap, reliable transport, hopefully.
Good, excellent.
Everything's good with me.
I'll run through a few bits, through a few interesting things. Now, did you come across a clip from David Cameron speaking to an Indian audience 6 years ago? Now, a chap on YouTube, and he's a Hindu, and he appears to be going along with the narrative, and the only reason he's put this up is because he's proud of being an Indian and of what David Cameron said. And this is the quote from it: "It won't be long," 6 years ago speaking, "it won't be long till there is a British Indian Prime Minister in Downing Street." Right? So he said this exactly 6 years ago, right? And you can watch this for yourself. It's called Layman Ramesh. How do you pronounce that? Cannan. Cannan.
Yeah.
Right? And he seems to be for the narrative, and he's just a Hindu, and he's just put it up. So I found it somewhat interesting. How does David Cameron know these things? Unless, of course, he knows. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was an interesting...
I've missed all this.
You've missed that one?
Yeah, completely missed it all. As far as Sunak's concerned, it's the plan being played out. That's the way I see it. People disagree with me, but this is a generational thing. So perhaps he was lined up a long time ago. But if not, then he's still picked for the job, isn't he? Yeah. He wants digital currency. His background, his family, his knowledge is all about the digital currency kind of stuff, and that's what they want. It's being played out.
Exactly, yeah.
So they've got the right man in for the job. Yeah, for me and you and anybody else. It's for the elites. Yeah. And he'll facilitate what they want. Is the perfect man for, regardless of anything else, where his mum and dad or his grandparents come from or anything like that, his religion, his race, anything like that. They've picked him because of, I think this digital thing. He's part of the WEF, isn't he? He's one of those.
And his family are connected some way in China with that.
That's right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, coming down the motorway from near Perry Bar, where the Alexander Stadium and the Commonwealth Games, not far from there, coming towards our part of town, going home, I saw this sign up, advertised: "Enjoy your witchcraft and wizardry this October the 31st, Halloween." Now, we saw on the Commonwealth Games many blatant occultic symbols, signs, and outright dark stuff going on, portrayed. But this in-your-face advertisement on motorway billboard signs, I can't quite remember it years ago on this scale. It's like they're coming out now quite open with the dark occult stuff. Mm-hmm. And promoting that.
Well, it's the season, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to get worse. And the longer it goes on, I kept making references to things being normalised. And wickedness and evil is being normalised. It was always there. But things such as this, the celebration of Halloween, you're not actually supposed to say what it is. It's all a bit of fun. It's something good that's been perverted and all the rest of it. It's not. If it's pulling you away from God, and darkness, then it's.
How many of these people realise realise or would admit the fact that there are dark practitioners and quite numerous amounts who are actually sacrificing, whether it's babies, children, adults or animals. The point is, it's not a bit of fun for them, is it? And if they're unwilling to even acknowledge that, isn't it? It's just not, just leave it, we don't want to.
There's kids running around in masks and having a bit of fun. Yeah. But it's a lot more sinister. It really is. It's palpable on that day. You can feel it. Now, it was good that you did that video with Janie with a testimony.
Yeah, put it up on Halloween. Came home. We had it done a few days before, and I thought just bang it up now.
Yes, put it on
attack
Halloween.
the devil on his ground.
Yeah,
and it went well. It went really well, didn't it? And she did really well.
Coming back to Halloween, with sinister overtones which have been glossed over, and it's just a bit of fun and all the rest of it. Look at other things as well. That's over the last few years. Fashions, skulls, dragons, demons, tattoos, satanic things. Oh no, I'm just being edgy. It's rock and roll, and all. But it's not. You're celebrating death and destruction. You're gonna die. The devil's gonna take you. It's
correct.
You want to celebrate life? Why would you want to celebrate death? Why do you want to be in a pine box?
Absolutely. And even just before, this is the afternoon now, about 3 o'clock, just before Jane went on a shift, 2 till 10, we saw a neighbour, young lady, walk by, and she'd changed her hair colour to jet black. And it didn't suit her. We both commented, looked, and I raised the question, is she doing it because it's been done for Halloween? They want to look like the Addams Family or something. Like, I know people dye their hair at certain times, but everything you've just pointed out, it makes you wonder if some people do it for the season.
I'm smiling because you just reminded me of something. When my nan lived in the flat in Willinghall Street, there was she's on the bottom floor, and there was a young couple on the top floor. It was a 3-floor flat. A young couple. Well, they were goths.
Yeah.
I was only in their early 20s. And they were all right. Yeah. And they used to look out for her, God bless them. So, it had some kind it pressed the wrong buttons. I made a cardboard template to cover a remote control, so it could only press certain buttons because they'd be on the phone. I'll press the wrong buttons with the telly again. Well, I'd done it again, even though I'd covered all the buttons up with a cardboard sheath, So I went upstairs, said, my telly's going, can you come in? And they did. And I was telling us about this. And I says, did they worship the devil? Because of all the eyeliner, But a serious point is though, they might be doing it for fashion, the music. It might be in their minds. It might be harmless, but if you're wearing symbols of Satan, then if I wore an Aston Villa top, right, and walked around the streets, I'm telling
you're a Villa fan.
Villa fan, So same kind of thing. So they might not truly fully understand it, and they might just say, "No."
There could be any given reason.
It's just part of the subculture. It's part of the fashion. It's the music. We dress like this because it's the scene, but it's satanic.
It's satanic.
Whether you understand that or not, and just taking elements of it, you're still using it. You're still. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But they were not a nice couple, nevertheless.
Yeah. It's just the fact of what they're wearing, the colours, the darkness, the skulls, the death.
Yeah.
Okay, so with regards to the government energy bill support, now for those with direct debits, they've probably not noticed this quite so much. Or maybe they have looked into it. But we basically, if we're entitled, get £400 non-repayable discount funded by the government. Now this began, I got a letter through because we don't have direct debits and got a card for the electorate. And the first we got a letter through saying we were entitled to £400, and it begins. You get £66 the first month, October, till March. So count the months: October, November, December, January, February, March, 6. And you get £66 a month.
It's all coincidence.
Right? Have you noticed this?
It's got to be coincidence. It can't be anything else but coincidence.
And how much of this goes on? All the time, isn't it? It's all the time. Of course.
I mentioned yesterday about the increase in ambulances.
Yeah.
And I do understand you've got a phenomenon whereby you, when you're looking out specifically, you tend to notice it more. But now, some things are just there, aren't they?
They're just there
They're just
to be
there.
seen, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yeah.
And in connection with what I've just said on the energy bills, now I did a talk a while back with Phil called We're All in This PSYOP Together, and we did it in spring in the Weatherspoons outside in the beer garden.
With his tin hat.
Yeah. Sorry?
With his tin hat.
Oh, with his tin hat, with his home guard hat on. Yeah, that's the one. And we said on it that we foresaw that come the deep, cold winter months,
I remember.
that it's likely that we would see people going to places to keep warm. Now, a church that me and Janie were recently visiting, it was announced, and we heard that the town council had asked the leaders of the church via a letter, so this is going out to numerous churches, if they could be a church community hub to keep warm.
Warm bank.
Exactly what Phil and me were talking about. And this is just the beginning. You'll find all sorts of schemes and things coming up.
Riding around on the bus if you've got a bus pass.
Yeah.
The heater's on in the bus.
Yeah. So we'll see more of that type of thing in the days coming. Now, you've been pointing out, Lee, with your driving and how you feel that those who have had this, how it may be affecting them.
Well, what I'm saying is, because the bulk of the population, most people have had it. The people who haven't had it are in the minority. The adult population, the driving age population, in the minority. Yeah. So there's been a definite increase in bad driving and careless driving and reckless driving, and most people have had this. So there's got to be a correlation. But that don't mean to say every single instance of bad driving.
I agree.
Somebody could be completely unjabbed and crash into my car.
Now,
But there's just more people who've had this, and the increase. So I'm drawing a connection there. That's fair.
Have you come across a sign? I came across this sign going to work. A traffic calming area. Have you seen these signs on the road anywhere?
I've heard the phrase. It's usually when they put these slaloms in to basically make it so you've got to stop while it's a deliberate obstacle to slow the traffic, so you've got to stop while the vehicles come in the opposite direction, get through the slalom, then it's your turn. They put big arrows on. Yeah. Big arrows saying either you've got the right of way or he has. Right,
you've heard of it, because I'd never seen that one before. But back to this thought that an incident happened, and I relate this story on good authority. I'm trying to keep names and groups out of it of where this was. But basically what happened, a particular person who I know, who's in the mid-60s in good health, had his wife described it. She thought initially he'd had a stroke. Basically, he went blank in the early morning. For quite a period of time, he was blank. And the paramedics were called. They assured her it was not a stroke after different tests and different things. And they said, after he'd gone for various examinations and one thing and another, they used this term. I'd never heard this before. Have you heard of this expression, Lee? It was called, this is what they diagnosed him as, a transglobal amnesia attack.
Never heard of it.
Sounds like a parcel firm or something. Transglobal amnesia attack. And it gets even more bizarre because after the doctor's assessment, and what do they call that expression where they give this is what you need to do to treat it? The treating of the...
diagnosis of the problem.
Diagnosed is this.
The prognosis of...
Yeah. But this is what the doctor said, how it could be treated. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
Crazy.
Wow. Are they making these things up? I've never heard of this. And even some medical person I spoke to had never heard of this.
Amnesia, it's back to death metal. No, I've never heard of that. My mum, she's having a lot of pain with her joints, her back and her hips and her legs. And there's some sense to this. But they've told her meditate. So basically saying pretend it ain't hurting you. That's what they're really saying is, meditation can help and taking your mind off certain things. Yes, and distraction.
Just think of other things.
Think of basically pretend it's not hurting. That's what they're saying is pretend it's not hurting you.
Wow.
Yeah. Also another one. I'm going to say it because the lady in question, the viewers don't. I know her personally. The viewers don't. So I'm not exposing her identity. But it was a gentleman, a friend of my mum and dad's who passed away quite recently, and I've never heard of this. And this definitely happened. I was told this. But she was asked, "What do you want us to put on the death certificate?" Have you ever heard of anything like that? I've never heard it. Surely that's illegal. They can't do that.
Well, that's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you want us to put on the death certificate? Eh? It's happened.
What can you say to that?
I was blown away. I was reluctant to mention that, but the being has been talking about these things, why not?
Okay, a few more light-hearted. A light-hearted one to... Again, saw on the motorway, this vehicle, it said, is fitted with image recording technology. Does that mean it's got a camera? Yeah, they come out with these long-winded things, don't they? And just some funny bits. I was seeing Janie off the other day on a early morning shift, and at the bus stop, and I carry her rucksack and wave her off if I'm off, not at work on that day. And but in chatting and standing there and talking, and then the bus comes, sometimes you forget to give the rucksack, innit? So she's got on the bus and the doors are just about to close, and I suddenly realise it, and I put my hands in like that and I go, "Jay!" And he looks shocked, the driver, and I stop and I'm pulling open and the door's open, and she runs down. I give her the bag, the Samson, and again, a similar thing happened in Lidl. I'd got my big trolley, gone through the doors into the foyer of the Lidl, and then I was going through in the doors of the next one. I had a big trolley, and it shut on my trolley. So again, the Samson approach, ripping it open like this, and I got through and held it open, and these two guys behind me, older guys, they said, I said, "Come on, quick, come through." And he went, "Yes." He says, "Come on, quick." He says to the one behind him, and he shot through, and the last one behind him says, "Oh, you've saved our lives," he said. It was funny. And with that, really, I've got nothing more to say. Do you want to say anything?
No, something happened years ago, a long time ago. It was at an hotel in Warrington, and they've got these barriers that come up and down like this, and they were basically messing me about, and I wanted to get off, and I was just being buggered about, basically. So what I did was got out the car. I was a bit bigger then. I got hold of it, just shoulder pressed it. I had it just snap, tumbling over. That was it. The car drove off. I think if I'd have done it about 2 or 3 years later, I'd have been caught on camera. I'd have been in trouble. I'd have been up before the beak for that one.
Well, that's brilliant. Well, thanks for dropping by, Lee.
All right,
it's been good, hasn't
it's been nice.
So we wish all the subscribers a good evening and be seeing you.
God bless.